Hi, I'm watching a C-drama, As Beautiful as You, which started airing on 2nd July. And I have two things I want to talk about. So let's do that. Briefly, what is this drama about? This drama stars Jukai and Tan Song-yoon, both actors I love. Jukai is an actor I've wanted to see better dramas from for so long. He really tries in every role that he does. But if you've seen him in Arsenal Military Academy, you know what he's capable of, and you know what his scripts are just not letting him do. He keeps getting slotted into these very straight-laced Sundre Chebol, I'm sure there is a Chinese word for this archetype, kind of characters where they make him repress all his energy. And he can do it. He can absolutely do, but it's not his strength. And it's not where he's allowed to deploy his nuclear level charm. And I'm despairing at this point. I don't know when we'll get to see it next. You get glimpses of that in dramas like A Wonderland of Love and Court Lady. But not a modern day one for some reason. Is it simply that Chinese netizens don't want to see anything but these like very suited business tycoon characters in their modern day dramas? I don't know what the reason is, but it's lacking in variety. And then you have Tan Song-yoon, who just completely stole my heart in Go Ahead. She's an actress who's always on my must-watch list. I trust her script choices way more than Jukai's. I'll watch anything Jukai does because Jukai, but not because I trust his script choices. I trust her script. If she's signed on to something, she's seen something in the script. And now I'm not saying that all the dramas that she chooses are a sure hit story-wise, not necessarily. But her own character will definitely be something different, really interesting, and play to her strengths. And honestly, that is all you can ask of an actor. You can't ask that they choose scripts that are overall amazing. You can only ask that their own character brings something interesting to the table, which Tan Song-yoon's characters always do. Now back to what this drama is about. It's about two old college mates who kind of fall out of touch and then meet again when one of them, Ji Cheng, is working in a medical AI company whose major investor is Hunting. It turns out, you find out pretty quickly, that Hunting has nursed a crush on Ji Cheng since their college days, which he just never ended up confessing to her about, but it's not gone anywhere. The flames are still there. What puts a brake on his ardor quickly is the fact that she's in a relationship, and also the fact that she never seems to have ever had any interest in him whatsoever. She's in a pretty happy relationship with Yi Chin, and while she is like a corporate slave working away for somebody else's company, Yi Chin is like the perfect boyfriend, like supports her, everything is awesome. They're planning to buy a house together. Unfortunately, Ji Cheng is not having the best time in her corporate slavery situation because her boss's boss, the woman who owns the company, has it out for her a bit. Like, she is not the nicest person. As is very usual in C-drama business romances, women are either loyal besties to the heroine or set up in opposition to the heroine. There is really no middle ground. There is no woman who's just indifferent to a heroine, just going about her day doing her own thing. That is just not a thing. So the boss of her company just has it out for her and makes her work life miserable until she quits and decides to start her own medical 3D printing startup. Except she has zero experience of the startup world. And so when she first goes out looking for investors and stuff, typically, as happens with most young startups, she doesn't have much luck. She has no connections, no ins, and she's just dismissed out of the hand like everywhere. Or the terms that she's presented are just terrible. would immediately strip her of all control of the company. And so this is where Hunting comes in. They have reconnected by now, and Hunting, at the very beginning of her startup journey, has basically just said, look, you have no experience running a business. Don't do it. It's going to be torture for you. Come work for my company. And he genuinely thinks that she is an amazing talent who would be a great addition to his own company. And he has a larger corporation that does like medical equipment, printing, AI, cloud stuff. So he is like, don't create a startup. You have no experience. You're just going to have a scummy time. And now usually I would watch a scene like that and be like, he's just being a jackass. He's being a jackass, and that is his personality. That is what they are showing us. But surprisingly, it's not. Every time he says something that is mean and kind of just ungenerous, turns out he's right. And not in like a vindictive way where he's underestimating her abilities of doing anything without his help. He's not. He genuinely has a way more experience of, that investor world, and has been an angel investor for a very long time. So when he says she's going to have a miserable time, he's not joking. He's for real. She's going to have a miserable time, and she does. And this is one of the two things that I want to talk about this drama. This is the part that I really liked. The drama really shows him as a guy who is good at his job and knows his world. Like when he gives Jisheng an advice about how to run her company or how to get investment or how to get resources, his advice is both actionable, and you can kind of see that it is pulled from the real world. Like the writers did research before they set up these scenarios. He's not just somebody who's set up to have more knowledge than her because he's just smarter, like a genius man, which he is a genius man, of course. If she's good at something, he's good at that plus 3 other things. That is just a genre staple. But he knows the business world really well. And it's not like he's constantly swooping in to save her ass. He tends to sit back and wait and see if Jisheng is being able to solve something. And sometimes he'll do it till the very last moment or not help at all, because he thinks that if you want to run your own business, you should be able to solve these things yourself. So genuinely, I like their relationship. He has a very scummy friend whom we will talk about in a bit. And that scummy friend kind of does advise Hunting to swoop in and kind of save her in certain situations that will evoke a great sense of gratitude towards him, which might, then turn towards the romantic. And thankfully, Hunting won me over because at one point he was like, I am not that despicable of a man. I will not do it. I'm like, yay. Low bar, but brownie point anyway. Meanwhile, Jisheng also has a really healthy partnership with her boyfriend, Xiao Yichen. Yichen also comes from a similar background to her, and they're both, simultaneously in their 20s struggling through their workplace stuff. When she complains about workplace politics, he understands commiserates and is the best boyfriend to her. That's all great. Except once she goes into the startup world, she has no time for him. None of her complaints are things that he can empathize with. Most of the time can't even understand where she's coming from, and very quickly starts feeling like he's not a core part of her world anymore. Like while she was still back in her corporate job, they had a plan to buy a house together and work towards a married life. But the moment she started her startup with a junior from her college, the house was no longer a priority for her. She needed all her funds devoted to her startup, and her startup became her baby, her priority. And Yichen baby was not happy about it. He's like, I don't like being a backdrop in your life. It's just been a couple of months. You can't even tolerate being deprioritized for a couple of months. While I appreciate the drama not turning him into a villain, like the guy genuinely loves her, but he's the kind of person who seems to also be self-aware enough to understand that his own insecurities would poison the relationship. So when he breaks up with her, It's generally because he can see that the relationship will not work. He can see that his needs and her needs are not aligned. And he knows himself well enough to understand that he can't wait. Like, he cannot take being a backdrop to her life. Points for self awareness and not villainizing the boyfriend. And so our girl is dealing with a breakup, but she finally has her investment from Hunting, who was basically waiting to see how she deals with the hardship of, being rejected by investor after investor, and whether she falls into the trap of like a really bad deal. He basically had he was trying to gauge her ability. Again, in any other character, I would have found this insufferable, especially because his slimy friend kept saying in the background, just go invest in her company. She'll love you so much for it. And he's like, that's not how I do business. That's not who I am. That doesn't align with my ethics. I'm doing this because they were playing basketball at the time. Which good on him, right? Yes, absolutely. He should not be investing in her company just because he has a crush on her. And so months go by after her breakup, but Hunting thankfully does not try to sweep in and sweep her off her feet. Their relationship develops in quick trots, but always through their business, their work. There is this particularly, it's a short but intense scene. Jishing just got her investment. She's trying to figure out something. She can't ask Hunting for help because he's like, well, I'll take 5% more of your company. And she's like, okay, no, thank you. However, she quickly realizes that she doesn't have the resources, doesn't have the connections, and doesn't know how to get certain materials that she quickly needs. She kind of name drops Hunting. Her motive initially is just to casually mention that he's an investor and then just, not go more into it. Of course, the people that she said it to aren't just going to let it go at that. They immediately want her to connect them to him. And they kind of make it very clear that they think that there is more going on in their relationship than actually is. And Hunting hears this exchange. So he sort of takes her aside and confronts her about it. And she's like, I didn't say anything wrong. I just literally just told them that you're an investor and that we used to be classmates. And he doesn't let her get away with it. Both of them know what she did was unethical. And I really like this scene. They're in this stairwell. There is this bright slash of light that's falling directly on her face while he is in the shadows. And he's speaking to her very softly. And it's all the worse because her own conscience is kind of eating her up from inside. And you can see the tension. And I just thought the scene was really well done. He doesn't let her off the hook. What she said and what she implied is obvious to both of them. And they are in an industry where it's already automatically assumed that, if he's helping her, then there might be something going on between the two of them. And for her to deliberately start a rumor like that, trying to take advantage of his name, the consequences of this will be far worse for her than for him. He points out that what she did was unethical, but his concern is also clearly that she just created a massive weakness for herself. He's done characters like this before, Falling Into Your Smile. He was technically in a sort of a group leader, mentor relationship with the newbie pro gamer female lead. But this character is written much better. And he has so much emotional control in a scene like this that it's impressive. And since we're almost at the halfway point of the drama and the romance hasn't yet kicked in, which I'm honestly fine with, I'm hoping that soon their dynamic changes. Because this is great. I love that they're working so well together, and Hunting is being such an excellent example of what an investor should be to a startup that he's helping take off. But this is slowly creating the dynamic that I fear, right? Where she is starting to look at him with eyes full of admiration and gratitude. The power differential between them is too vast. No matter how capable Jishing is in her current position as the, co-owner of a startup, nothing she does is ever going to be completely her own until she can decouple from this partnership. There will always be a suspicion that Hunting handed her all of the solutions to her problems. And We see this enough in the real world where women trying to do something, if they have a male mentor, it's automatically assumed that, they're sleeping together, which is why he's helping her with everything. It's not a dynamic I love. And before they start anything, I really need this to stop. I need this to change. Can they please not do this? I don't know where this is heading, but I think in one of the trailers for this drama, I had seen Jishing's character say something to the effect of, let's start again, but this time not as investor and a startup owner, but as Hunting and Jishing. So I really hope that is where we are going with the second half of the drama. Okay, I have said all the nice things I wanted to say about this drama. My second point is going to be less complimentary. But to be fair, this criticism is also not limited to this one drama. This is a disease of the business world romance subgenre in C-drama land in general. Dramas like As Beautiful as You has what I think of as soft patriarchy or conservative feminism. Women all have jobs and their own independent sources of income. However, the men they are romantically paired with all come from more affluent backgrounds. If a woman happens to be dating somebody of the same financial background as her, he will get insecure when she starts her own startup and they will break up. She's meant to end up with a partner who can support her ambitions. However, if a woman actively looks for a rich partner, if that is one of her requirements or qualifications for her boyfriend, then she becomes a cautionary tale of greed cometh before a fall. For instance, one of Jishing's friend, Lily, played by the really excellent Hei Ruishan, whom I had last seen in Go Ahead. I really love this actress. She happens to be a woman who likes luxury goods. She likes the good life. She likes a smooth man who's not awkward when he's making a move on her. And she's clearly supposed to be the protagonist of this cautionary tale, who learns that looking for rich men is not the right way to find the correct partner for you. You really should be looking for a man who prioritizes you, even if he isn't from a strong financial background. This archetype happens to crop up in a lot of dramas. I remember one in Find Yourself. And again, she's not an unsympathetic character over here. The problem is it's not done very well in this drama and just ends up being grossly sexist. So Lily starts working for Jishing's startup, and Jishing's co-founder has a crush on Lily. He's one of those guys who's sincere and awkward with his moves, but also cannot read cues at all. Lily has shown exactly the same level of niceness to him as she has to everybody in the company. But she's also repeatedly turned him down when he's asked her out on dates. You would think that would be signal enough for him to realize that she is not interested in him. But no, what stumps him is him finding out when Lily is showing off this very expensive bag that she got from her boyfriend, that she has a boyfriend, A, but also that he's a rich man. And later on, when he's really low and his friend tries to come and comfort him, he's like, no, I have accepted defeat because her boyfriend is financially stronger than I am. I just have to work harder to become, a more eligible prospect. He doesn't say it resentfully, but my God, the sexism inherent in what he just said. We got zero input from Lily about any of this. Lily doesn't even know what her boyfriend does, for heck's sake. She can afford to buy herself stuff. She's a very generous, loyal friend, and she has a pretty good income of her own. She lost her really lucrative job at her previous company because she was trying to help Jijing. And to have this idiot basically say that she would have chosen me if I was a rich guy, completely ignoring all of the times when Lily had clearly shown him zero interest, it's infuriating, and I don't know what to do with this rage inside me. The sad thing is, I am pretty sure she's going to end up with this guy. I'm telling you right now, I am not happy about this. Ugh. The previous example I cited about Find Yourself, where they also try to set up this particular storyline. They do such a good job. Where this woman is this heroine's colleague, and she is very aware, like her reasons for looking for a rich man is very clear sighted. She's like, I just don't want to be put in a situation where my partner is earning as much as me or less than me, and I end up having to support him and his dreams. I have other things that I need to do. So she's clear-sighted and very self-aware about why she's doing what she's doing. And it's like it's in the text. Like she knows that that is what she's doing. It's not like vaguely judgmentally implied like it is in this drama. Also, the partner that she does end up with is this guy who has no interest in dating because he's also like, I just don't want to make that effort. I just want to coast on whatever my income is. I'm not too interested in getting promotions, doing better in life. Like he has zero ambitions in life. And he doesn't date and doesn't want to marry because he's like, I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to have to be with somebody, then support a larger family, and then have all of those responsibilities on my shoulder. I like that because when you had those two characters come together and slowly fall in love with each other, they're doing it against their will because they both are very clear-sighted about how they want their life to play out, and falling in love with each other doesn't allow that to happen. It conflicts with their own plans for their life. How do you not love a storyline like that? Very clear-sighted storytelling. You gotta love that. They don't have it here, and it makes me so mad. So yeah, she will end up with that idiot. Because yes, while the show absolutely believes that women should end up with men who are more affluent than them, it also doesn't want to be caught saying that women should seek that. Because then you're greedy. How dare you? You should be punished. And your punishment is to end up with a man with the same level of income as you. Rich men are a reward for modest good girls. Oh, another interesting aspect of this kind of worldview is how secondary female characters are written in dramas like this. Secondary female characters can only be good when they are loyal friends of the female lead. Every other woman of roughly her own age is going to be set up in opposition to her. They can't just ignore the female lead and live their own life, do their own thing. No, they must covet what the female lead has or resent her for some reason, and basically just want her downfall. So that exists in this drama too. Everybody from the boss of Jishing's AI medical company to Hunting's sister hates her. Even one of her besties who has a crush on Jishing's ex-boyfriend Yichen doesn't hate Jishing, but is definitely not being a loyal friend. She's kind of like going behind Jishing's back and hitting on Yichen now that they have broken up. You can have neutral male characters in this drama, but very few neutral female characters. They are almost non-existent. I am ready for the romance to kick in, so that's what I am waiting for now. And let's hope that they can make the second half land. Okay, that was the video. Bye.